My name is Viktor Mayer-Schönberger. I'm a professor at Oxford University, and I'm really interested in what role data plays in the digital economy. I started being interested in information technologies back in the 1980s and the 1990s. I was a serial software entrepreneur then, and then chose academia as my main career track, but always kept at least one leg in the entrepreneurial, mostly IT world. And right around about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, something changed when I talked to my friends and colleagues out there. And they all weren't so much interested in technology per se anymore. They were really talking about something else. And I couldn't name that something else at that time, but what they were really excited about was actually not IT as in tech, but I as in information. They were interested in the data, how data flows, what kind of insights we can extract from data, and how we can mine data to gain economic advantages. In the past, we have had data collections and data analysis going on for many, many years. But we did that in order to do something else, to sell more products, sell more goods, be better in marketing, be better in advertising. In the next years, we'll discover that data itself is a resource. It is the new oil. And other than the real oil, it doesn't get used up. You can reuse data over and over again, reaping more economic benefits. It's a wonderful new resource, and it becomes an economic value in itself. So it can be traded, it can be licensed, it can be used to gain phenomenal new insights in how humans behave and how we can make the economy grow faster. My first piece of advice would be not to start with the consultants, not to start with the technology, and not to start with hiring a bunch of data analysts. Yes, that's important, and there are great tools and great consultants out there. But first you need to know where you're going. And then, secondly, you need to have the data. So data is centrally important. You need to have the ability to collect the data, to analyze it and store it. For that you need the ability to have access to data. And then, most importantly, you need what I call the big data mindset. That is the mindset, including at the highest level of an organization, at the executive level, that data is not just a utility, is not just something that helps us, but is something that in itself is valuable. If you don't have the big data mindset, you cannot follow through with whatever goal you have in utilizing data because you don't know where you're going. Well, to an extent, people don't know where to start in the sense that they think, oh my God, I need to start with a bunch of data analysts. Rather than understanding that what they need to do first is to think about what their long-term strategy is in this big data world. Is there a long-term strategy to become a data platform? Is there a long-term strategy to become a company or an organization that gains novel insights from data, either theirs or somebody else's? So defining where you want to go is really the first step, and that holds a lot of companies back because it really requires creative and innovative thinking at the highest levels. And it takes some risk as well to move into that direction. And then once you move into that direction, and especially when you're a consumer company, a consumer-facing company, you also need to think about your customers. You need to think about whether they'll play along, whether they'll be able to trust you. But we don't need to do anything to rise consumer mistrust. That is growing by leaps and bounds almost automatically. Whenever they open the newspapers in the morning, they see another scare story about what happens with their sensitive data. What really is important is that those that use data, the retailers, the payment infrastructure organizations, put in place ways by which trust can be maintained and trust can be enhanced that the customers have in the data users, especially when they look at and analyze very sensitive data. So what's really key is trust and the maintenance of trust. It's not about compliance, it's not about following the law, it's about following the preferences of the users. And the preferences of the users is that the users want the data users to be responsible and accountable and trustworthy. If they are not, then the data users will move elsewhere. Ask Facebook, because 2 years ago, tens of millions of Facebook users starting to migrate to Snapchat because Snapchat offered a way of ephemerality, a way of forgetting some of the photos that were being shared. Facebook didn't offer that. So Facebook was left with a lot of users that just post clean stuff every couple of weeks there, while the real action is going on at Snapchat because Snapchat was able to maintain and to induce trust. The Internet of Things is a great novel way of collecting and gathering data at a scale that we couldn't think of before. In a way, therefore, the Internet of Things is the infrastructure that we need to make big data work. It's like the water pipes or the electricity wires that are necessary for data to flow and for data to be amassed so that we then can analyze it and gain the valuable insights. See, what is interesting is that there are so many phenomenal examples from retail companies online like Amazon, but also offline. Look in the United States at Walmart and others who have a big data team, who have big data mindset, and who have, quite frankly, the data to do great things. But it's not just the big guys, and it's not just the well-known names that are superbly successful and are really intriguing and interesting to watch. It is also the young startup companies in the Silicon Valley, but also everywhere in Asia and more in the Middle East here too, that have great ideas, and they are moving fast. And with cloud computing and other tools, they can compete with the real big guns at a very low cost base. Well, I've come here looking forward to meeting great people, and I've done that. But I was surprised by the phenomenal spectrum of technology and new innovative ideas and products that I saw here. This really is the place to be.